Well, springtime has come and the finches are nesting in the Italian cypress. It won't be long before it gets hot. It's time to fix the cooler. It's been wintering and I had it covered, and now it's time to change the pads on it. I had to strip the pads off because they were so calcified it made it too heavy to carry down. So I just stripped it on the roof right where it was in place, took the plastic cover off, brought it down the roof someplace a little bit closer to the patio cover, and I'm getting ready to bring it down the ladder. This was the cover I used to cover it during the winter time to keep the snow, the dust, and all the debris out of the cooler. Look how calcified that pad was. I didn't get to bleed it last summer because of the pandemic, and I couldn't get the bleeder tea for it, and it just really did cake up that aspen. It just filled it. It's like a stone, and I had to cut it off in pieces to get it off the cooler. Looks like the finch is watching me. Well, here's the cactus we have in the backyard. This is the prickly pear cactus. It suffered badly during the winter, the snow we had back in October. And that's the Mormon tea plant. I thought this was an interesting shadow. A bird's shadow against the trumpet vine against the wall. That little bird nest there, he nests in that trumpet vine underneath that arbor. That's his home, or I should say her home. She's got a little nest underneath there. You can see the trumpet vine's got its leaves coming out. This is an interesting shot, the texture of the bark and the white-winged dove in the background. Thought you might like to see that. And here I am, up on the roof, made it up the ladder.
Doing, what is it?
This is the water pump right here. It's what feeds the aspen pads on the cooler. And I didn't get to bleed the cooler off last year. And it's heavily calcified. And I'm going to see if I can clean it up, see if it still works. Get a new hose for it, we'll see. I just laid the shield down that I used to cover the duct with in the winter time. Now here's the support. You're looking at the support for the aspen pads, and this is the plastic cover to cover the aspen pads, and it's badly calcified, mineralized. The water out here is very hard. I pulled that from the ductwork up on the roof. This thing is made out of fiberglass, which is one of the selling points of this particular cooler. Although it is round, it is made out of fiberglass so it won't rust. There's the finches again. That sure is a tall Italian cypress, much taller than the house. And my bird feeder. Birds frequent this often. Look at the tree, a shot from underneath looking up. Isn't that cool? Well, we're on the way to the hardware store. I need to get some aspen pads for the cooler. It's a specialized aspen pad. They're not square. They come like in a roll, and they're quite long. I think 138 inches long by 29 inches wide. Some of the stores are still open for business, and I'm fortunate enough to get behind a gardener's truck. It's going to be a slow ride into the hardware store. But that's okay, I'm not in a hurry. Now here's the hardware store I go to. I've been going here for over 20 years. It's kind of hidden, it's behind a Walgreens, and it's called Salmon's. And they've always had the cooler pads that I needed. It's not an easy cooler pad to find. And they are open, which is good news for me. Face masks are required if you're going to go into the store. I purchased what I need and it's in the cart right now. All the little goodies. Here I am posing with my wife, getting ready to head back to the car. Gonna load this up in the trunk. And there's the front of the store. You'd hardly know it was there. Well, I got it loaded up in the trunk. I'm in the car, getting ready to squirt my hands with the disinfectant. And we're back home again. I got everything I need to fix this cooler up, and I'm connecting the hose right now because I'm going to have to clean the cooler up. There I am. You can see I'm cleaning the cage. I'm squirting all the calcium deposits off the cage because it does build up. And as I said before, this cage is made out of fiberglass. Now I'm trying to clean the inside of the distribution tube. It's circular. It goes around the cooler. So I attach it to the input and turn the hose on full and try and blow out all the calcification debris that's inside the tubing. Looks much cleaner than it did. Little drip coming out of there, but that's perfectly normal. Now I have to clean the outside cover. This was the worst. Besides the aspen pads themselves that were totally calcified, it calcified the cooler cover. Now this is made out of plastic. It's quite fragile. And it's been in the sun for many years, and I'm shooting the calcification off the gridding. Strong pressure on the hose. This just makes it lighter because the calcification makes it quite heavy. And also it blocks the ports, and you need to get air moving through there. I didn't make the same mistake this year. I did put in a bleeder tee. Now this is a fresh aspen pad that I'm going to be putting over the cooler cage. And this is what a new one looks like. Aspen shavings, and it looks like it's held in a mesh. And I just wrap it around the cage, get it as tight as I can. Push it down so it sticks a little bit. Now I'm putting the cover on. The cover has adjustable straps that you push in place, and it pulls it tight. The one in the middle was broken, but the two on the outside, the top and bottom, were still working. And that's what it looks like when it's all wrapped up. Now I'm going to try and secure the middle locking device. Since there is no clip on it, I'm just going to use a pull tie and run it through and see if I can pull it tight. It's not a big job because the outside clips are the most important. I still got it, man. I still got it. I lift this thing up here on the roof every year. I'm getting older and it's getting heavier. And I still got it. Yeah. 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 Well, here I am carrying up my bag of goodies. It's got the bleeder tee, quite a few other things. It's got some tools in it and some distribution hose and some bleeder tubing. I'm not going to let it calcify up on me this year. It happened last year because I couldn't get to the hardware store because of the virus, and I had to let it run all year without bleeding it off, and that was a mistake. You always want to bleed the cooler off some, that way the calcium won't build up. The cooler will work better, it'll last longer, and it'll make cleanup a lot better for the next season. I noticed there were some other people working on a cooler across the street, 2 younger men. Well, they're not over at my house. Oh, look at that little lizard. My wife caught that just by chance. That's pretty cool. The trees are getting ready to shoot their pollen out. You can see the little pollen pods on the Afghan pine. There's a nice shot of a pine cone. You can see it's a windy day today. It's sunny, windy, and hot. These are all going to be little flowers. They're seed pods. They're getting ready to grow. They're coming up out of the cactus. And when they grow, they're green at first, and then they turn purple, and there's seeds inside of them. And over here is the soap tree yucca. It'll be flowering soon as well. Well, there's the cooler assembly, the cooler filter assembly, getting ready, sitting there on the roof. Look how that cactus split in half. Now, the snow did that. Snow split it right in two. There's my ladder. It's a nice, safe aluminum ladder. I have it extended above the roof so I have something to hold on to when I get to the top. Here's all the chips of calcium laying out in the yard. It made a mess, but it had to come out. It had to come off. You can see that the trumpet vine on the arbor is starting to shoot new leaves. That's a good sign. Things are coming back to life again. The shade screen's still in place on the arbor. The oleanders are starting to bud. You can see the blooms coming out, especially here at the top. As you take a look, you can see. Here's another bud at the bottom. And here I go. I'm moving up with the cooler assembly. It is heavy. I had to carry it up the ladder. Now I'm having to carry it up the roof. You go, well, why not roll it? Well, it messes it up. It'll crack the plastic. Yeah. Did it. Well, I got the cooler assembly up and over the plumbing, the motor, and the water pump. And I'm trying to position everything in place so that nothing hangs over the edge. It's a steep roof. There's a lot of calcium deposits on the roof. Check out this spider web. My wife caught it while I was on the roof. I didn't think the camera would catch it, but it did. You can see the intricacy of the spider web. Very, very delicate, but effective. It's pretty neat the way it showed up. I never thought the camera would pick this up, but it did. There's our Cactus Hill. And there's a finch in a tree. Male finch, riding the wind out. Yeah, he's going for a ride right now for sure. And here I am, up on the roof, getting ready to finish up. I'm trying to position the lid in place so that it completely overhangs the outside plastic grill. Sometimes that's easier said than done, especially on a cooler of this age. But it's much cleaner. It's going to be much more effective cooler this year. And here I am pushing in some of the plastic underneath the lid, trying to get it to good tight fit, keep the insects out. Now there's little knobs that hold this lid on. That's what I'm screwing in right now. You get everything lined up. Once you get the lid in position, you can turn these little knobs down, and it'll hold the lid on. This is a discontinued cooler, by the way. They don't make them like this anymore. They're made out of metal now. Well, it looks like the job's finished. I'm coming down. Should smell good inside. Nice cool aspen. Nice and cool. We got it all aligned and tightened down. It sounds good. Just putting water out. Should work. Should be a cool house. And it's bleeding off too. It's bleeding off. We'll check to see if it was bleeding off. It's good. Oh, I'm going to go inside and get a drink of water.